Welcome back to another episode of Toxiris Discovers. Today we got 6 albums suggested by the community and 1 I picked for myself, so let's get right into it.
It's the gang, we done came on. The gang.
Alright, so the first album, the only one I picked for myself this week, Simple by IDK. This is only 8 tracks long and only 18 minutes, so really short. But I'm happy to say that it is very good, as you would expect from IDK, besides his most recent project. I don't know, I didn't really like You See For Yourself that much. I liked it at the beginning, and I think I gave it a 7.5, but the more I listened to it, the more I was like, this album is pretty mid, honestly. It doesn't have that much that stands out at all. So this one is definitely better in my opinion. It has no skips at all, basically, and all the real tracks, like all the songs, are very enjoyable and pretty unique in my opinion. So if you haven't heard this project yet, it doesn't take a lot of time. These 2 would be my favorite songs.
One boy run up, 2 boys get done up, 3 women weep, all
And even beside these, there's some great tracks on here. You could check it out. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Then we are getting to the community suggestions. The first project being Richard D. James album by Aphex Twin, suggested by Kieran Cartwright. This is electronic music as far as I found it. I don't know. Pretty interesting project, but honestly, besides one track, which is this one, besides this track, this project did not have anything really great. Like, it was alright, it was flowing by. I was like, oh, this sounds good and that sounds good. But then it already went past that and went to something else, and I was like, oh, this is not good anymore. I don't know. I feel like this project is pretty boring, first of all. I don't know. It's just not that exciting to me. But some parts are pretty new to my ears, and maybe I just have to get used to them. So I would rate the project a 5 out of 10. So I'm not really hating it, but I'm not loving it either. It's just in the middle. Next project we got Slime Time 2 Deluxe by YRB Tezz, suggested by Zhao. This project is a disgrace. No, it's not that bad, but it is really lacking anything personal, lacking anything unique. The best moment on this project is a hook made by Stunner for Vegas's girlfriend. That's how you know this project sucks. I'm sorry, man. That's just, these 2 would be my favorite track. Even with these, it's just a mid project in my opinion. Listen to them.
Big dog, bitch, I'm an elephant. I'm in my element. Now we can't fuck because right now I'm celibate. Hood, but I'm delicate. Street, but I'm Ellen.
She like, babe, what is you on? I told that bitch go ding. I remember I fuck game.
Now you heard these 2 tracks. One track was already on the normal version, just didn't have a feature. And really, this project is, I don't know. I just can't really say much to it. Production is not that great. Besides, on that one track I just put in, the features are okay, but really nothing to be excited about. And YRB Tezz himself is just drowning on his own album, drowning in bad production and drowning it below features. I would rate the project a 3 out of 10 overall. Then we get to the next project, which is Sorry for the Wait Deluxe by Chief Keef, suggested by Lorsom. This is far from the first Chief Keef project we've had on the series, and this is far from the first one where I'm like, this is kind of long, bro. I mean, 1 hour and 10 minutes can be a good length for a project, but usually not for a Chief Keef project, at least to me, because he does have a lot of enjoyable tracks on here, a lot of great tracks. I mean, a couple classics on here, like Sosa Chamberlain, for example, is an all-time Chief Keef classic. And these 2, which are some pretty underrated bangers, and my favorites on the project.
What you talking for? Keep your mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed if you ain't talking about.
Niggas say I'm always smoking, always drinking, got some issues. Niggas always fucking plotting, now what's thinking.
Even these two and some other tracks cannot really make up for the lack of interesting things on some other tracks, which does not make this album bad. Like, it's still a very solid project, but I would just I wish this had a more compelling track list and a more selective track list. Yeah, besides that, it's a great project. I can't really complain. I think he has some great tracks on here, but as I said, just a couple too many skips, a couple too many tracks where not even the hook keeps me listening. So I would overall rate it as 7 out of 10. Next project we got Everybody Is Food by Conway the Machine, suggested by Philly Bow. Well, this project, quite interesting one. I was pretty disappointed because you said great samples, great beats on every song. I disagree. I don't want to say the production is bad on here. The production, the rapping, and the samples are not on Conway's top tier level here. I feel like this is a very underwhelming Conway project, at least to me. I haven't heard all of his projects yet, I'm far from that, but I have heard a couple. And I gotta say, from the ones I've heard, this is easily the worst one. Which doesn't make it a bad project, but at least to Conway standards, it's not that great. Now, these two would be my favorite two tracks, and just to give you an idea, these two tracks would not be in my top 3 on any other Conway project.
K by me backseat of the grave, Mozzie. Shot in my head and lived, I'm the nigga. Look, rock the medicine ball legacies. New God flow, so every bar heavenly.
But as I said, just because it is one of the worst Conway records, it's not a bad record. I just think it's a 6.5 out of 10. Especially comparing it to Conway's other records. Maybe if it would be by another artist and I would not be used to the level this project has, then maybe I would rate it higher. But from a Conway perspective, I have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Let's move on to the next project, Red Light by Bladee, suggested by Cyphic. Pretty good Bladee album, honestly. I mean, he's not, in my opinion, this is not anything special in many aspects. It's pretty standard in many aspects, honestly. It's just that what you expect from Bladee, that's what you get on this project. That is, you don't get that much else besides very, very, very enjoyable melodies on here. He always has a couple on every project, sometimes more, sometimes less. This project is probably the most enjoyable Bladee project I've heard so far. It might not be the best or the most interesting one or the most experimental one, whatever you want to say to it, but to me, it is the most enjoyable one with the best hooks and all that shit, all that good stuff. These two are probably my favorite tracks from the track list.
So you feel I can't even feel my face, my face. You saw me calm down, I made it fall in love. My cousin's on down 925 my own.
And yeah, even besides these two tracks, there's a couple nice tracks on here, so you might as well want to check it out. It's not that long. I would overall rate the project a 7.5 out of 10. And with that being said, let's get to the last project of the day, which is The Course of the Inevitable by Lloyd Banks, suggested by Alkbra NBA. This is the first full-length project I'm hearing from Lloyd Banks. Obviously, I know of him. I have heard his name before, and I have heard some tracks before. I even heard a couple of tracks from this project before. I wanted to listen to it when it came out. I just forgot, I guess. I don't know. He's just not that relevant these days. But it is a very good project, in my opinion. It is packed with very good features by people like Ransom, Styles P, Benny the Butcher, and some more people. But these three are really the key features that stand out to me. The best one is Ransom. Benny delivers a very good verse, and Styles P comes in with some interesting delivery as well.
I'm cruising by you, took banks for granted, got you too used to fire. New provider, cross paths, I probably dropped a few screws, but every song is a homicide. My breath of fresh air is formaldehyde. Just let the album ride. I'm back in the zone in 2000.
But overall, the project's only flaw is probably its length and a couple tracks that could have been left off. and at some points a bit of stale production. I'm gonna be honest, a bit of stale production. But still, this project has a lot of great tracks, whether that's for the production, the bars, or anything else. Most of this project is really, really good, and that's why I would give it an 8 out of 10. With that being said, thank you for listening, thank you for watching. What do you think about these projects? Let me know in the comments. Suggest some projects for the next episode, and have a great one.
Remember back then, all them hoes ain't want me. Now I'm ballin', all them same hoes on me. Mama told me that this came with the money and the motherfucking fame. Even though I feel the same, I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now. I'm that nigga now.